Disclaimer: the contents of this podcast spoil storylines of Hyperion and Power Girl and the Justice League, as well as films such as Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice and Logan. Also, we say the F word a lot. Hello, everyone, and welcome once more to the Flying Feathers podcast. My name is Nathan D. Gonder. Joining me today is my lovely buddy Chase.
Yay, I'm here again.
He's here, he's right there, and unfortunately Donovan isn't able to make this one, but you know, things happen in life, Chase. You grow old, you throw away your childhood wonders and your dreams, and then you die. Alright, moving on. Chase, have you read or watched anything new this week?
Actually, no, I have not, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's been a slow one for me, too. The only thing I've done is I've been reading The Sandman Mystery Theater. It's a series that came out in the 90s, and it's kind of the, I guess it's the reboot for the Sandman character. Not the Neil Gaiman Gothic Sandman, but the Wesley Dodds Sandman, one of the original Detective Comics characters. He was a founding member of the Justice Society of America. We talked about Spectre for our first episode. He was collaborative with Spectre and characters of the like.
Okay.
It's a really good read. It's mocked after those like 1940s black and white serials that you would get before movies. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a decent way through. But anyway, Chase, we're gonna talk about what we always talk about, the characters, the people, men and women, that don the capes. And you picked for this week. You picked your character, and I based mine off of it. So I'll go ahead and let you start. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I picked Hyperion for this week. I've seen him in a couple of animated TV shows, and he looked really interesting, and I love his costume. Both of his costumes. He has two. Because there was an earlier version of him, and then now there's the 2016 version of him, which I actually like. I couldn't find too much about the earlier version, but I'll start off with he was in the Marvel Avengers Assemble TV show, and basically in that, he kind of did like the generic, tried to out-hero the hero, kind of like what Mysterio was trying to do in Homecoming, or Far From Home.
Yeah, it's kind of like what Shazam does with Superman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then basically he ends up becoming a villain in that TV show.
Well, I'm unfamiliar with the character. I looked him up briefly, but I didn't read too much into it because I wanted to hear what you had to say. Is this a hero or a villain?
See, that's the thing. It's not really, he's more of a hero than he is a villain, but he has done some questionable things. I've been really busy this week and wasn't able to completely complete my research, but I still got a lot of stuff that I can talk about. But he's mostly a hero, especially in the newer 2016 Hyperion 1 comic book. Basically, I'll start off with the new Hyperion now. His name is obviously Hyperion. His alias is Marcus Milton. Marcus Milton Hyperion's first appearance was Avengers 1, February of 2013. I should look up that comic book later. But he was an infant eternal sent into space to avoid destruction of his planet. Superman.
Yeah, sounds a little familiar.
And he's not even from Earth 16 or 616. He's from Earth 13,034. Upon maturity, he becomes Hyperion, and basically right off the bat, he actually joins a superhero squad called the Squadron Supreme. Their first appearance was Avengers 85 in 1971, actually. He joins Squadron Supreme, blah, blah, blah. His Earth, Earth 13034, collides with Earth 616, I believe. It doesn't actually say, but it collides with another Earth. And he becomes trapped in a void, eventually being saved by AIM. And he becomes a guinea pig for AIM. And then the Avengers saves him, and he joins the Avengers. And when he joins the Avengers, he actually one of the first big fights that he goes to is he fights the Gardeners, which the Gardeners are actually really cool.
I was gonna say that
The
sounds
Gardeners.
fucking lame, Chase.
No, but actually, the Gardeners are creatures created by the Builders to help them shape the universe. Basically, they were the ones that created life on different planets and created those different planets and stuff like that. Um, Gardeners are always accompanied by an Abyss who is in charge of judging his or her work. An Aleph carries the eggs of the Gardener and an Abyss until they find suitable environment to create life. Eventually, they fight that said Gardener and Abyss and one of the Alephs as well. I think they had something called the Origin Bomb, and the Origin Bomb went off. I'm sure they won, but
Yeah,
the
they
Origin
they
Bomb went
always
off.
win.
Yeah, and it created the Children of the Sun, and basically these are a race of humanoid creatures created by one of the gardeners that they fought in an attempt to evolve Earth. Hyperion actually, after they defeat the gardeners and stuff, he actually takes them under his wing and becomes their mentor. And basically, what is really awesome about them is like their power or ability is self-sustenance. So they don't need to eat, they don't need to drink, they don't need to rest, and they also like grow up at an incredible speed. But I mean, we can go into them in another episode because I'm sure there's a lot on them.
Well, I'd love to do that just because, like, in the age of post comics code in sort of the late 70s and especially the mid to late 80s, Marvel Comics was doing something that DC Comics was kind of doing, but not really. I mean, DC Comics sort of established a multiverse theory in Crisis on Infinite
Mm-hmm.
Earths, which I'll talk about because it relates to my character. But
Cool.
uh, Marvel was doing all this weird space crap. Like, uh, I was reading the what is it? I was reading the second generation of X-Men. I think it was the Ultimate X-Men. It's got like, Wolverine and Storm and Colossus and
Mm-hmm.
Nightcrawler. There's a small storyline and it gets bigger and it impacts the characters over the course of 50 issues, and where I almost said Patrick Stewart, Professor X gets visions all the way
Patrick
from,
Stewart.
yeah, well, I mean, they're the same person, but he gets visions from like way across the universe from this alien princess who's begging and calling for help, and it unlocks just this terrible void of all these different cosmic beings, and I just thought, wow, I'm I'd be surprised and enchanted as a regular comic reader to discover, going from
Mm-hmm.
thieves in masks that are robbing banks to creatures that, live in the deep pits of another universe. It's just really interesting stuff like that.
After the whole Children of the Sun thing, uh, the Avengers, led by Captain America, of all people,
Got
tries to
America's
hunt down the
ass.
Illuminati. Yeah, America's ass. The Avengers, led by America's ass, tries to hunt down the Illuminati, and that's why I don't really know why, but Hyperion quits after that. He quits after Captain America or America's ass tries to hunt the Illuminati,
Maybe he's a
and
part of
he
the Illuminati.
maybe.
Maybe he is. I don't know what's an Illuminati thing. Maybe he is. Fuck it, I got nothing. Anyway, keep going.
The Seeing Eye.
He's the seeing eye. Yeah, perfect. Okay.
Yeah. um, so he joins a Renegade Avengers led by Sunspot, which Sunspot's actually really cool and someone I will do later also, but I can give you a quick recap of him.
Go ahead.
He is Roberto da Costa. I don't. Okay, Roberto da Costa. There
Excellent.
we go. And he was a Brazilian, actually. Well, he's the son of a Brazilian millionaire.
A
Um,
Brazilianaire.
yeah, a Brazilianaire. Oh,
That's dumb.
and he actually is. When he was 14, he found out that he had powers, and eventually he's actually one of the founding members of the New Mutants,
Oh.
and goes to goes to Professor Xavier's school and everything like that, and becomes best buds with Cannonball.
Oh, I love Cannonball.
I don't really know much about. I think I know of him, but I don't really know a lot about him.
He's pretty cool.
But once he found out his powers at a soccer game, people ran away, but his girlfriend uh, stayed with him in that tough time that he had, and eventually a supervillainary calls it team
A,
by the name
a Suicide Squad, if you might.
yeah. Oh no, it's called the Hellfire Club.
Oh, that's much cooler.
Yeah. The Hellfire Club kidnaps his girlfriend, and he gets help from Professor X and some X-Men, and he goes and hunts these people down, and blah blah blah. And that's my quick recap. And that's when, after that, he joins the New Mutants and does a bunch of stuff. Oh, also, his father was contacted by the Hellfire Club and is now a member of the inner circle of the Hellfire Club. So that's kind of cool. But anyways, he joins that renegade Avengers, and basically they become like multiverse Avengers, and they travel between different realities and fight different stuff that are going on in those different realities. And in one of those realities, they find out that creation itself is coming to an end, and they come across these guys called the Beyonders, or I guess one of them. But they fight him. I didn't look up what they were.
They sound like they're probably really powerful.
Yeah, very, very powerful.
Let's leave it at that. They're big, they're tall.
Yeah.
They're very powerful.
Very much so.
Oh.
But he actually, him and the multiverse Avengers, quote unquote, die. They actually die.
Oh.
They could not defeat the Beyonder, and they all die. But they are actually reincarnated.
Of course.
Reborn into this new reconstructed universe. And right then and there, when they were reconstructed into this universe, whoever created the universe actually picked people from different universes in that multiverse, and reincarnated and rebirthed them into this one Earth. And right then and there, bam, end of the multiverse. There's that one Earth left.
Ooh.
Yeah, and being Hyperion, it's a cool kind of character arc of his. Is he is tired of losing homeworlds. He has now lost 2 of them, and this is when his questionable antics come into play. Being him and how powerful he is, he doesn't want to lose another homeworld, so he creates another Squadron Supreme, and he actually hunts down people and or places that are a threat to this last Earth. Some of the notable characters that he has killed: Namor the Submariner.
Oh, really?
I just know he looks weird. His character is super weird, but he's so old and he's been in Marvel for so long.
Yeah. He's Marvel's Aquaman, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
There are very few differences between Namor and Aquaman.
Yeah. Except Namor has like Hermes' boots.
Yeah, he does.
And he can like fly.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I believe he kills him. He actually raids Atlantis, and Atlantis falls under the power of the many people in the squad, which I can actually tell you whom they are.
List them off. Give us a list.
So, Atlantis destroyed. The Squadron Supreme right now is Marcus Milton, Hyperion, of all people. Blur.
Oh, the band.
Spectrum. Do what?
Oh, the band. Blur. Damon Albarn? Okay, so little music pro tip here. Gorillaz is just Blur for people that like anime. All right, continue. Continue. I'm done with that.
Okay. Dr. Spectrum, Nighthawk, and Power Princess. So yeah, they unite after New Earth is restored following the end of the multiverse. The sworn goal of these survivors of their own alternate Earths is to police the last reality, which is actually Marvel. They call it Prime Earth, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've heard that term.
The Marvel Universe is Prime Earth. Prime! Which they resolve to preserve at all costs. Their first act is to punish Namor the Submariner, leader of the Cabal, which is a group of villains that's responsible for eradicating many alternate Earths. Okay, so this is kind of cool. Their retaliation is swift and merciless as mighty Hyperion drags the sunken city out of the life-sustaining seas and crushes it to Earth. Guilt-racked, Namor does not long survive the doom of his beloved realm. He literally loses his head in a no-holds-barred duel with Hyperion. Satisfied that justice has been served, the Squadron are woefully unaware that a traitor in their midst plans similar fates for them all. Oh, okay. Well, that leaded up to something that I can't explain now. But but yeah. So yeah, Namor loses his head. That's pretty cool.
Hot damn.
I didn't know he actually drug the city out of the fucking sea, though. That's awesome. That kind of tells you how strong he is.
Drug it out of the life-sustaining sea to Earth, which is rapidly less life-sustaining as the years go by.
Yes. But that's something for our political podcast.
Yeah. Fuck, what we had? No. You could call that a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
You could call it the I don't want to say the fascist feathers, but that's the only one that's come. So just as a thing about the fascist feathers, that would be a satire only. We are not fascist, nor are we feathers, nor are we birds. I want to bring that to people's attention. We're not actually birds.
But yeah, that is Hyperion. I might in a later episode do some more research and do like a quick thing at the beginning of the episode or something of stuff that I missed or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because I feel bad, but
well, I mean, yeah, I don't want to cover everything just because I want people to go look up these characters on their own.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, that's interesting. There are a couple points in Marvel's publication history where it's very obvious that they wanted to make a Superman. With Sentry and Hyperion in points where they were like, well, we've got cool characters that DC just cannot ever have. We've got Spider-Man, we've got the X-Men, Wolverine, and we've got Iron Man and all that stuff. So who needs a Superman? And then everybody at Marvel is just like, yeah, well, it's Superman. Gotta have one of those. And they're like, okay, never mind.
I think when I first heard about Hyperion and kind of learned about him, I think Hyperion was one of like the biggest direct rip-offs of Superman. Like,
well, yeah, he was a replication of Superman ultimately.
Yeah, because he has laser vision and everything too.
And it's not like how Deadpool is a complete rip of Deadshot. Deadpool is a satirical rip of that character, but Hyperion is just literally Superman.
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
And Deadpool is not a rip-off of Deadshot. Because Deadshot's the guy with the sniper.
Oh, not Deadshot. Fuck. Deathstroke. My bad.
Deathstroke. No. There you go. I couldn't think of his name either, but
that is no. Okay.
Get ready for the comment section.
Oh God, I'm getting another weird Russian comment. For our visitor that typed in Russian or whatever the hell language that was, I would love to do Dark Claw sometime. I would love to cover all those weird 90s mashup characters at some point. I did see your comment. Thank you for not voting, but we will do Dark Claw eventually, I'm sure. If we're talking about Superman ripoffs, I got one that is a ripoff of a character that is the same as Superman that was meant to be the same character from a different universe. Now, just wrap your minds around that. So, I'm doing Power Girl. And some of you might not know who Power Girl is. Some of you might only know what she looks like. And I'll get onto that.
Boobs.
No. But it pisses me off. It really pisses me off, and I'm going to tell you why. But that's for later. All right. So, Power Girl was conceived by writer, I believe, Jerry with a G. Change your name. Jerry Conway. And artists Rick Estrada and famous artist Wally Wood. Power Girl first appeared in All-Star Comics 58 as a member of the Justice Society of America, Earth 2. She has gone through many publication rewrites and retcons, but I want to focus on the main continuity that is most present. She is Kara Zor-El, the daughter of Superman's aunt and uncle, and she was sent to Earth at the same time Superman was, but her spacecraft took much longer to arrive. You might notice that Kara Zor-El is a familiar name if you are a comic book reader or CWDC show watcher. Kara Zor-El is generally Supergirl, but Power Girl is the Earth 2 version of Supergirl, and therefore she possesses the standard Kryptonian yellow sun powers, such as flight, strength, speed, super breath, heat vision, telescopic vision. I bet she could throw a weird cellophane S, I'm sure. But as are Superman and Supergirl's, her weaknesses are intense solar radiation, an inability to see through lead, magic, and of course, kryptonite. The rock that is supposed to be light years away, but for some reason everybody just fucking has.
I never thought about that before.
On Earth 2, she is affiliated with the Earth 2 Huntress, who is actually the daughter of Batman and Catwoman, which I thought was cool. Not cool enough to do an episode about you, though. So during the Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985, the one that I spoke of earlier, it established the idea of a multiverse pretty much. Oh, by the way, her alter ego is Karen Starr. But anyway, during the Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985, she was retconned to be an Atlantean, and that changed her origin.
What?
This was not accepted well, and in the latter half of her stint in the series, it was revealed that her Peekaboo just flew away. All right, anyway, it was revealed that her foster mother, Lois Lane, and her foster father was Clark Kent, had fabricated that story to protect her from knowing that she was an actual Kryptonian. And then she learned of her Kryptonian origin, and that she was...
Whoa, hold up. I'm confused.
Yep. So
I'm already confused.
Basically, Lois Lane, her adoptive mother, told her that she was an Atlantean because it somehow protected her from knowing that she was a Kryptonian. And we'll be right back after this because my bird flew away and now I don't know where he is. Where'd you go? Where you at? Come on. I can hear you, but I can't see you. Where the hell did you go? This isn't funny. Where you at, bird? Ugh. Okay. Did you go under my bed? Where the hell are you? Oh my God. Hello, everyone. Sorry about that. My bird is very small, and I don't know where he flew. Turns out he was sitting on top of my dresser, and I didn't see him, because, as I said, he is small. Anyway, where was I? Yes, the Crisis on Infinite Earths. So, Power Girl, or Karen Starr's foster mother, Lois Lane, famously Superman's girlfriend, had fabricated a story that Karen was an Atlantean, which is why she got her powers, I guess. But then it was revealed that she is actually Kryptonian, and that she is the Earth 2 version of Superman's cousin, famously known as Supergirl. So then Karen becomes Power Girl, and she decides not to be affiliated with Superman or Supergirl, at least in her look. Of course, she does team up with them, and I'll get to that later. Anyway, it was never revealed why Karen survived, because in the Infinite Earth Crisis, characters like Jay Garrick, the Flash, did not survive, and he was an Earth 2 hero as well. And to this day, it is still unexplained how she was able to live, but they did not. She is a really interesting character because, again, she is literally an alternative version of Supergirl, but their personalities are incredibly different. Power Girl is depicted as a lot stronger and way more independent than Supergirl, and that's the only reason that she hasn't attached herself to the Super Blank title like Superman or Supergirl, or Crypto the Superdog.
Crypto the Superdog.
It's really good show.
Oh, hey, that's an idea for an episode. Just superpowered pets.
Yeah, like you got the Bat Hound, you got Crypto the Superdog.
Yeah.
I'm sure others. Maybe Iron Man has a fish.
Maybe Ironfish.
The Iron Fin. But anyway, she tries to establish herself as her own hero, and that's why her costume is different too. It is a skin-tight, white, long-sleeve, I guess, leotard that is legless. And it reveals quite a bit of her body. Writers even today have tried to justify the costume design, but I don't buy it. Women being drawn that way in comic books is something that needs to stop because it's another standard that makes people uncomfortable. If comic book writers and companies and illustrators want to appeal to girls just as much as boys, which they should, then costumes like this need to be scrapped because we don't live in an era where women are seen as objects anymore, so Power Girl shouldn't be drawn like one. Even more on that, Wally Wood was a notable creator of Power Girl's costume. Comic book writer Jimmy Palmiotti, something Italian, has been quoted as saying, okay, when the character was created, Wally Wood was the artist that drew Power Girl, and he was convinced that the editors were not paying attention to anything he did. So his inker said, every issue, I'm going to draw the tits bigger until they notice. It took about 7 or 8 issues before anyone was like, hey, what's with the tits? And that's when they stopped. True story. Fuck that. I don't like that. The character has appeared in Crisis on Infinite Earths, featured heavily in New 52, and a bit in Brightest Day, the animated Batman and Superman Public Enemies film, and Teen Titans Go, apparently. Haven't seen it. Don't want to see it. She's also a skin in Injustice 2 for the playable Supergirl. Currently, in the post-Rebirth storyline, the character is trapped between dimensions, and I'm unsure if they're planning on using her. But I hope so. And I hope they change her damn costume! I chose her because I think she's a lot better than Supergirl, who tends to be written as helpless and boring, even though she's, like, literally got the same powers as Superman. Like, I remember when I was a kid, there was a Batman the Animated Series episode where Batman was gone, and one of Superman's villains came to Gotham, so Batgirl and Supergirl teamed up to fight her, but Supergirl is, like, immensely weaker than Superman, and I don't know a lot about Supergirl, so I don't know if that's ever explained.
But at the same time, you could do the whole, biological basis that men are biologically usually stronger than women.
No! No, I'm not gonna do that! They're aliens that derive their power from a yellow sun. End of story.
And she also arrived on Earth later, so that means she didn't soak up enough of the yellow sun rays, maybe. You could go that route, too.
Well, I know that she's supposed to be younger and more immature than Superman. So there's like a lot of mentoring that Superman has with her. I know on Earth Zero, which is the current, like the usual timeline of Earth, Superman eventually adopts her as like his daughter, kind of. So maybe there's some growing to do. I don't know. But anyway, Power Girl has her structural issues and her design flaws, but I think she's a really strong character that hasn't been given enough justice because a lot of mainstream readers and watchers are still trying to grasp the concept of a multiverse. I understand that it's hard to look at 2 different comic books and think, why is Robin dead in this one, but he's still alive in this one? Or why does Batman fight Superman in this one, but they're friends in this one? Or in this timeline, Batman's dead, and Nightwing is Batman. What's going on? It's so confusing. But it's something that I hope readers and watchers come to understand a lot more fluidly. So hopefully we can get more and better Power Girl content in the future, because a lot of her solo stuff sucks. But anyway, that's what I got on Power Girl so far. Obviously a criminally underrated and sexualized character, which frustrates the hell out of me. But again, I'd like to see more stuff with her in the future. I think Supergirl is still running. I don't know anything about those TV shows anymore.
Oh, yeah. You talking about the one on CW?
Yeah, CW Supergirl.
I have no idea, and I really do not care to know either.
Yeah, I don't like any of them, but I would hope that they at least nod to her, because I think she's a really cool character. She's kind of just a better version of Supergirl. But yeah, that's a bit about Power Girl. She's always kind of the secondary character, which, really sucks. But again, there's a million possibilities for reboots or new solo issues or new all-star issues in the future, and I hope her, like Spectre from the previous episode, I hope they all get one. Everybody gets a comic book. Every single person. That guy that was standing in the background in the death of Superman, he gets his own comic book. What's his name? His name is probably like Derek or something like that. Derek, All-Star, issue 1. Runs for 70 issues, and then it's canceled.
Yes.
I love comic books. All right, Chase. What time is it? Is it time to ring the bell?
Yeah.
It's time to ring the bell. Ding, ding. Ring the damn bell.
Ding, ding.
All right, Chase, we got Hyperion. We got Power Girl. They're in a room, a large room, preferably. No weapons other than fists, all right? Pure fists.
Oh,
fists
yeah.
that can kill a man.
Pure fisties.
All right, who do you think wins?
Hyperion, definitely.
Does Hyperion... So, what does... Okay, so... Hyperion and Power Girl generally have the same powers, no? Like,
yes.
I mean,
yeah,
if
they're
Power Girl...
flying, super strength, laser eyes...
So let me ask you this. Can Hyperion control magic?
No.
Because there's no kryptonite in this room. There's no kryptonite at all.
Yeah.
All
but
right.
you want to hear my reasoning for why Hyperion wins?
Yeah. Why?
Because if we are in this said room, most likely I would assume there's no windows. There was no window specified, but Power Girl, being Kryptonian and gaining her powers from the sun, would eventually run out of energy.
I actually don't know that. So, all right. So there's an example of something like this in the Flashpoint paradox, where Superman is contained in a room that harnesses energy from a red sun. Therefore, he never grew to be Superman. But I'm not sure, because there's tons of comic books where Superman... or Supergirl, or it's in the shows too, and in the movies, where he's standing in a building or it's nighttime and he's totally fine. So I think that's a solar radiation thing at that point.
Yeah, but I'm not saying in the sense of like he might be able to store some of it, but see, like, I don't know if this is necessarily a good thing to quote, but in the opening cinematic of DC Universe Online, Superman isn't there at the very beginning because he's literally right next to the sun, regaining his energy. So it's not necessarily that because there's no sunlight, she's not going to have power, because obviously her cells can store power just like energy. It's just energy. That's all it is. But the fact of the matter is that prolonged use of said power will eventually drain that energy, and that's what I'm saying. Because there's Hyperion, it says, he was an Eternal, so he doesn't gain his powers from anything, he just has them.
Okay.
So...
Okay, all right, I'm seeing what you're saying. So prolonged use, let's say that initially they're equal caliber, they're just fucking throwing punches and taking hits, knocking teeth, all that stuff. They're doing it for days, maybe even like months. Or something like that. They're just fighting in this room. Who knows where this room is? But at some point, Power Girl is to become so weakened that she has to... Okay, yeah, all right. So, beautiful example in this. I'm going to source some of the best, well-regarded, most loved, beloved Superman content that there is out there. So, in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice... the military hits Superman with a nuke, and Superman floats in space, and he looks like crap. Not just the CGI being bad, but also he looks like he's weak. He's not doing great. But when Superman drifts into the orbit of the sun, his cheeks fill up. He looks like the handsome young man that we all knew for the next 10 minutes right before he died. A spoiler: Superman dies in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice. And Logan dies. But anyway,
and Logan dies!
But anyway, okay, so I get it. All right, so if the fight lasts long enough, Power Girl could become susceptible to weakness. And I'm going to go ahead and say that this room, for future episodes, is reinforced with whatever the hell the character needs to not get out of it. So in this case,
okay,
it's if Hyperion can't get through something, it's reinforced with that. I'm not gonna look it up. In this one, it's not reinforced with kryptonite because that would weaken Power Girl. But let's say that it's reinforced with like a magic barrier or something like that. So she can't get out. She's at full power, full strength, but she can't get out. All right. So, Chase, I just looked up
Mhm.
Hyperion's principal weakness. All right, you want to hear what Google tells me? First thing I see.
Yes.
Hyperion's, get ready for this. Hyperion's, are you sitting down? Hyperion's
Yeah.
principal
Yes.
weakness is an isotope of lead. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's an isotope of lead vassal argonite whose particles of decay serve to damper the quasi-nuclear reactions in his body. While in itself it cannot kill him, it can render him susceptible to other forms of injury. So I don't know what that means.
It's just his kryptonite. Basically.
It's an isotope, probably harder to obtain to kryptonite for some reason. But yes, all right. Well, I don't know what to do with that because it's probably not in the room. All right. So in this instance, let's say that Hyperion has the upper hand over Power Girl. All right. Hyperion gets this one. But
Yes.
I would like to ask the listeners, what do you think? You're gonna flip your. I dropped the coin. You're gonna you're gonna flip your coin. Probably couldn't hear that. You're gonna flip your coin or decide what you like. Once again, to our listener that spoke in some odd language, we'll probably do Dark Claw eventually. But please vote on one of these characters. Tell us what you think. Hyperion or Power Girl? Why don't you do some reading yourself? Go find out who these characters are. Maybe you'll like them. Maybe you won't. I don't know. Anything's possible.
Yeah, anything.
But anyway, I know that this was a short episode, guys, but thank you once again for listening. I would like to thank Chase for being here tonight.
Yes.
And we all say that we miss Donovan. In remembrance of Donovan, let's just hold a short memoriam for Donovan today. That's like you bitch ass. You're yelling at me and shit. All right,
I started
guys.
laughing in the middle of it.
Okay, well, you know. All right, guys. Well, thank you again for listening. Remember, tell us what you think. Let us know what you think.
Yes.
And we will see you hopefully next week. Anything could happen. The world could end. I could get sick. A number of things. Once again, my name is Nathan D. Gonder.
My name is Chase.
And we will catch you around. What's a superhero thing? What's I gotta end it with a superhero thing.
With great power comes great responsibility? I don't know.
Great power comes great responsibility, guys. Thank you so much for listening, and see you later!